Welcome to Learning Management System. In today's session, we'll be studying the fifth unit of Water Resource Engineering, that is distribution works, cross drainage works, and diversion head works. In the previous session, you have already studied about why there is a necessity of providing a diversion head work, that is the cross drainage works, and as you already know that the diversion headworks are generally provided across a river or a stream in order to divert the water from the river into the canal, and it is necessary, and in such case it becomes necessary to construct certain structures across the river and at the head of the off-taking canal. So these works which we carry out across such areas or such structures, what we call it as diversion headworks. So as we already know, there are two types of diversion headwork. One is storage and the other one was diversion headwork. And also you have studied regarding the objectives of diversion headwork. The main objectives of diversion headwork were to raise the water level in order to have a more commandable area, and also to regulate the supply of water into the canal, and also to prevent the entry of silt into the canal, and to provide some storage of water for a shorter period. So these were the some objectives I think we have already seen in the last session. And the last bit regarding the criteria for the site selection for diversion headworks. At the site, generally we say that the river should be straight and narrow. The river bank should be well defined. The valuable land should not be submerged when the weir or barrage is to be constructed. And the elevation of the site should be much higher than the area that has to be irrigated. So in today's session, the contents that will be covered here under this session will be, that is a topic regarding layout of diversion headwork. A brief layout of diversion headwork, which basically consists of weirs, barrages, under sluices, divide walls. These are the different components that you can see in the layout, and fish ladders, approach channels, canal head regulators, etc. And also the second part of this content regarding components of diversion headwork. What are the functions of these components of the diversion headwork? That is regarding weirs, divide walls, under sluices. For example, fish ladder. Generally, fish ladder are used for the migration of fishes, and the canal head regulators are used to control the flow of water into the canals. And also silt excluders are provided to control and prevent the entry of silt. So we'll be studying the different components that have been incorporated in this layout of diversion headwork. And last, a small multiple choice question test. So in today's session, we'll be covering briefly regarding these three contents. So as you already know that this is a brief sketch which shows a layout of diversion headwork. So in this layout you can see the different components of diversion headworks. I think you can see the central most solid obstruction, that is weir or barrage, and next you can see the approach channel here, and also a divide wall. Divide wall is generally provided by the side of fish ladder, and approach channel, it also consists of a scoring sluices here, and then you can see the upstream and downstream side of the river, and you can also see the river training works, that is marginal bunds, guide banks, which we generally call these as the river training works. And also you can see the diversion of canal on the right side, and also you can see the head regulator which is provided at the head of the canal. So the components of divergent headwork, as we have already seen in the layout, that is weir or barrages, under sluices, divide walls, fish ladder, and approach channels. I think you can see here approach channels, canal head regulators. Here these are the canal head regulators, silt excluders or silt prevention devices, and also you can see the marginal bunds and guide banks. So these are the components of diversion headwork. Now coming to the weir, the first component, that is the first component. A weir, it is nothing but, you can see in this image, this is a picture showing the image of a weir which is constructed across a river in order to raise its water level and divert the water into the canal taking off from its upstream side. You can see here, this is the weir. It is which is a structure constructed across the river in order to raise the water level and then divert this water into the canal. On the crest of the weirs, usually shutters are provided so that part of the raising of water is carried out by shutters. I think you can see here. During floods, the shutter may be dropped down to allow water to flow over the crest of the weir. So weir is generally aligned at right angles to the direction of flow of river. I think you can see here the direction of flow of river in this direction, whereas the weir is built across the at right angles. So in brief, the weir is a hydraulic structure which is constructed across the river in order to raise the water and then divert it into the canal. If a weir stores water for tiding or small periods of short supply, then we call it as a storage weir. The main difference between storage weir and dam is only in height and also its duration for which supply is stored. This is the basic difference between the storage weir and the dam. Next, coming to the coming to the barrage, which is also included in the first component, that is barrage. If storage of water is done by gates and very small portion or nil portion of water is stored and stored by raised crust, then you call this barrier as a barrage. I think you can see here. See, this barrage is similar to the weir, but the heading of water is affected by the gates alone. Here there is no solid structure across the river. The crust level is kept slightly at a low level and flood flow is controlled by the gates. So this barrage, in barrages, generally there is less silting and a better control over the water levels can be obtained here. And these barrages are generally proves to be costlier than weirs. So in this case of a barrage, the crust is kept at a low level and the raising up of water level or ponding is accomplished mainly by means of these gates here. During floods, these gates can be raised to clear off the high flood level and thus enable the high flood to pass the minimum of afflux. Afflux is heading up of water on the upstream side. So a barrage provides better control on the water level in the river, but it is comparatively more costlier. So you can see here, this is the layout. These two are the layout of diversion headworks here, where weirs are constructed. See, you can see here, weirs are constructed across the river, and you can also see the barrages which are provided with solid gates, and these are generally provided at right angles to the direction of flow. So next, coming to under sluices. So coming to under sluices Undersluices are the openings which are provided in the body of weir at low level. These are located at same side from which the canal is taking off. The crust of undersluice is kept lower than crust of weir, due to which water is attracted towards it and thus ensure easy diversion into the canal. So I think you can see in this figure, these are the opening made in the weir structure. So the undersluices or scoring sluices make a deep channel in front of the head regulator. You can see in this figure. These are the undersluices here, which make a deep channel in front of the head regulator, and they discharge a part of flood on the downstream side. So undersluices should be kept always lower than that of the crust of the head regulator by at least 1 to 1.2 meters. You can see here, this is the canal head regulator, whereas undersluices are provided slightly at lower level, that is at least by 1 to 1.2 meters lower. And also piers are constructed at regular intervals between the piers, that is gates are provided. The flow of water is controlled by the approach channels of the weir, which is discharged to the downstream side by the opening up of the gates here. So this is the pictorial image of the undersluices. You can see here, these are the openings of the weir structure. These are also called as scoring sluices. So they discharge a part of flood on the downstream side, and they are generally kept to a lower level than the head regulator by at least 1 to 1.2 meters. So next, coming so in the undersluices here, again you can see in the image that the undersluices are generally provided with the gates, and these gates are kept closed. These openings are gets closed, and the suspended silt goes on depositing in front of the canal head regulator. And when the silt deposition becomes appreciable, the gates are opened and the deposited silt is loosened with an agitator mounting on a boat. So the muddy water flows towards the downstream through the scoring sluices. The gates are then closed, and during the period of flood, the gates are generally kept open. Next, coming to the divide wall. Divide wall, it is a long wall constructed at right angles in the angle in the weir or barrages. It may be constructed with stone or concrete. And on the upstream side, the wall is extended just to cover the canal regulator. And on the downstream side, it is extended up to the launching apron. So a divide wall is nothing but, you can see in the previous image here, a divide wall. I think you can see here, this is the divide wall. It is a long masonry concrete wall or an embankment protected on all sides with the help of stone or concrete blocks, which is constructed at right angles to the axis of the weir to separate the undersluices from the rest of the weir. And if two canals take off, one on either side of the river, then two divide walls are required, one on each side. The top width of the divide wall is about 1.5 to 2.5 meter. The divide wall extends on the upstream side up to a distance little beyond the beginning of the canal head regulator, and on the downstream side up to the end of loose protection. So I think you can see in this image, these are the divide walls. The divide wall, it is a long wall which is constructed at right angles in the weir or barrage. In the third image, you can see the divide wall very clearly. That is Sanjay Vidyut Pariyojana, that is in the Kinnaur district of Himachal Pradesh. And in second image, you can see the Obra Dam, which is in the Mirzapur district of UP. These are some of the divide walls which are constructed with stone or cement. And on the upstream side, you can see the wall is extended just to cover the canal head regulator. On the upstream side, the wall extends up to the in order to cover the canal head regulator, whereas on the downstream side, it is extended up to the launching aprons. In the second image, you can see the divide walls are extended up to the launching aprons. The function of the divide walls is to form a still water pocket in front of the canal head in order to accumulate the water in front of the canal head so that the suspended silt can be settled, which then later on can be cleaned through the scoring sluices from time to time. It controls the eddy current or cross current in front of the canal head also. And it also provides a straight approach in front of the canal head. It also resists the overturning effect of the weir or barrage caused by the pressure of the impounding water, which is the most important point that has to be considered. Next, coming to the fish ladder. That is fish ladder. It is a passage provided adjacent to divide wall for the movement of fish from upstream to downstream and vice versa. It allows free access to fish so that they can travel from colder water to hot water. So you can see here, these are the fish ladders. These are the different types of fish ladders that can be provided. So these are the large rivers which are generally inhabited by several types of fishes, many of which are migratory. Such fish has found to be moving from upstream side to hill to downstream side at the beginning of winter season in search of warmer water and return to their spawning ground on the downstream side. So this generally it is seen before the monsoon in during May and June. So if no arrangement is made for the movement of these fishes, if no arrangement is made in a weir or a dam to enable their migration, their life would have been in danger. So for an easy movement of the fish from upstream to downstream side, these fish ladders are constructed. So you can see here, these are the fish ladder which is provided by the side of the divide wall. So large rivers have various types of fishes, many of which are migratory and they move from one part of the river to another according to the season. In our country, generally fish moves from upstream to downstream in the beginning of winter in search of warmth and return to upstream before monsoon for clearer water. You can see here. So especially this fish ladder, you can see in the figure, there are a number of ladders or steps which are provided for the easy movement of the ship here, for the fishes here. So due to the construction of weir or barrage across the river, these fish ladders mainly help in migration of the fishes and they mainly help to prevent the destruction of fish life that may take place in the river due to the construction of weirs, barrages or dams. So this enables the fish to migrate from upstream to downstream. Since most fish can travel upstream only, if the velocity of flow does not exceed 3 to 3.5 meter per second, the design of the fish ladder should be such that it constantly releases water at a velocity not exceeding this value. So next, coming to the approach channels. So approach channel, it is the velocity of the river water which should be reduced when it reaches to the canal head regulator. When the velocity reduces, the silt particle which are in the suspension will settle down, and the clean water may enter into the canal. So to reduce the entry of silt into the canal, the floor level of the upstream side is so adjusted that a pocket is made in front of the canal head regulator. So in this pocket, the silt settles down and the canal draws water from the still pond of pocket, and this pocket we call it as an approach channel. And this approach channel is made up with the help of a divide wall. So I think you can see here, this is the approach channel which is provided across the river, and this approach channel is provided by the side of the divide wall. Okay, and these are the uh, pockets. These are the small pockets which mainly holds the water so that the silt settle down and the canal draws water from the still pond of the pocket. So this is the approach channel which you can see in the figure. You can see in this layout sketch also here a divide wall is provided just which mainly divides the weir or barrage, and you can see here the approach channel. So the approach channel, it is generally provided to reduce the velocity of water, reduce the velocity of water so that the silt particle will always remain in suspension and only clean water can be regulated into the canal. You can see here the clean water is allowed to enter into the canal through the canal head regulator. So these are the canal head regulator. A head regulator, it is nothing but it is a structure which is constructed at the head of the canal, offtake from a reservoir behind a weir or a dam. It may consist of a number of spans which is separated by piers, and it is operated by gates. So it is a structure constructed at the head of the canal from upstream of the weir or barrage constructed. It consists of a number of spans which is separated by piers which supports the gates provided for the regulation of water flow to the canal. These spans ranges from 6 to 8 meters which are used with counterbalanced steel gates which are operated manually by the winches. And also larger spans are used if necessary or if the condition is economical. Now coming to the silt extruders. So silt extruders are those works which are constructed on the bed of the river upstream of the head regulator. The clearer water enters the head regulator and the silted water enters the silt excluder. As I've already said, the approach channels are generally provided to form a pocket of water so that the silt will get accumulated and clear water is regulated into the canal. So this silted water is removed with the help of this silt extruders. So this silt extruders, it is a structure constructed in the bed of the river on the upstream of a head regulator to attack the river so that the silt is removed from the water before it enters into the canal, and its main function is to prevent the entry of silt into the canal. So here this is the typical image or picture which you can see here These are the silt extruders, which are a type of silt control devices which function to exclude silt from water to entering the canal. So these devices are particularly provided on the river bed in front of the head regulator. A silt extruder usually consists of a number of rectangular tunnels resting on the floor of the undersluice pocket. You can see here the number of tunnels which rest on the floor of the undersluice pocket. The bottom portion of the tunnel is formed by the floor of undersluice pocket. The top level of the floor of tunnel is kept same as the level of the crust or sill of the head regulator. The tunnels are constructed with variable length. These tunnels may be of different lengths. So now coming to the last component, that is river training work. River training works are generally required near the weir site in order to ensure a smooth and an axial flow of water, and thus to prevent the river from outflaking the work due to a change in its course. So the river training works required on a canal headwork generally consist of the guide banks, marginal bunds, spurs. So river training is generally defined as the measures adopted on a river, especially because of these measures are adopted because the rivers in the alluvial plain frequently alter their courses and may subsequently damage to the land and property adjacent to them. So in order to prevent the damage to the land as well as property, river training works are being carried out on a canal headwork. So some of the river training works carried are: one is guide banks, second one is marginal bunds, and third one is spurs. So now coming to guide banks. So these guide banks are nothing but when a barrage is constructed across a river which flows through the alluvial soil, the guide banks must be constructed on both the approaches to protect the structure from erosion. You can see here in the figure, these are the guide banks which are provided on either side of the embankment. So the guide bank must be constructed on both the approaches in order to protect the structure from the erosion. So the main purpose is to protect the barrage from the effect of scoring and erosion. It provides a straight approach towards the barrage. It mainly helps to provide a straight approach, and it controls the velocity of flow near the structure. These guide banks mainly helps in controlling the velocity of the water. And next, coming to marginal embankment. Marginal embankment, these are the earthen embankments which are constructed parallel to the river bank on both the banks according to the condition. So these are provided on bank of the river on the upstream of the diversion headwork in order to protect land and property, and also to prevent the property from submerging off during the flood. So the main purpose of this is to retain the flood water, to store the water within a specified section. It protects towns and villages from devastation during heavy flood, and also it protects valuable agricultural land. See, I think you can see here, these are the marginal bunds. Ahead of guide bank, these marginal bunds are provided so they can retain the flood water or flood water within a specified section. Especially it helps in preventing the submergence of the land during heavy floods. And next, that is the spurs. These are temporary structures permeable in nature provided on the curve of river to protect the river bank from erosion. So these are the projected from the river bank towards the bed, making an angle of 60 to 70 degree with the bank of the river. The length of the spurs depends on the width of the river and the sharpness of the curve. With this, we come to the end of today's session, and now we shall have a small multiple choice question test. So the first question is, divide walls helps in concentrating scoring action. The option given here are, that is A true, B false. The options here are A true, B false. The answer is A, that is true. If perhaps a divide wall is not provided, then the currents approach the scoring sluices from all directions and their effectiveness is reduced. So thus the divide walls mainly helps in concentrating the scoring action of the under sluices from washing out the silt deposited in the pocket. As you already seen in the figure, these divide walls mainly helps to reduce the velocity of waters, and they help to uh, they mainly help in the deposition of silt, and so that a clear water is entered into the canal. Now coming to the second question, that is, head regulator helps in controlling the flow in the canal. The options given here are, that is A true, B false. The answer is A, that is true. Head regulator mainly helps in controlling the flow in the canal. As the name itself suggests, regulator. Head regulator helps in regulating the supply of flow easy in a canal. Controls silt entry into the canal, and it also shut river flooding. Now coming to the third question, that is, by constructing which structure we can help the fish in their migration. The options given here are A, scoring sluices, B, silt excluder, third, fish ladder, D, divide wall. Yes, the answer is C, that is fish ladder. As we already know, fish ladders are generally provided for the easy migration of the fishes from upstream to downstream side. So before the start of the monsoon, the fish migrate to the upstream in search of warm water. So some provision is made to make some space available for them to travel. And this is achieved by the construction of fish ladder, as they provide the room for movement and also slows down the flow for easy traveling of fish. Hence, with this, the fish can flow from downstream to upstream, upstream and to downstream, vice versa. Now coming to the fourth question, that is, what device is placed in front of head regulator for silt removal? The options given are weir, silt extractor, silt excluder, and the last option given is barrage. Yes, the answer is C, that is silt excluder. Silt excluder is placed in front of the head regulator, by which silt is removed from the water even before the water enters into the canal. So the fundamental principle on which this device acts is the fact that stream carrying silt in suspension, the concentration of silt charge is more in upper layers than in lower layers. Therefore, this device is so designed for separating these two layers without a disturbance. Hence, silt excluder are generally placed in front of the head regulator for silt removal. Now, coming to the fifth question, that is, how many river training works are needed on the canal headwork? The answers given here are A 5, B 3, C 4, D 2. The answer is B, that is 3. 3 river training works are needed on the canal headwork to prevent the river from outflanking the work due to change in its course and ensure the smooth and axial flow of water. This generally include, that is, one is guide banks, second one is marginal bunds, and the third one is spurs. As you already studied, these are the 3 major river training works that are needed on the canal head regulator. And these also protect the area from submergence due to raise in high flood level. So these marginal bunds mainly help in protecting the lands from submergence. And also the spurs are the works that mainly protect the marginal bunds. So these And the answer is B, that is 3. Next, coming to the 6th question, that is the last question. Fish ladder is provided by the side of the option given here are, that is A, divide wall, B, diaphragm wall, C, core wall, D, wing wall. Yes, as you already seen in the layout sketches, that fish ladder is generally provided by the side of divide wall. Hence, the answer is A, that is divide wall. So with this, we come to the end of this session. So in today's session, I think we have covered a brief layout of divergent headworks regarding its components. So these components includes weirs, barrages, undersluices, why these undersluices are provided, and divide walls, fish ladders, which mainly helps in the migration of fishes, canal head regulators, which mainly helps in allowing the silt-free water into the canal, and the river training works that are carried in order to prevent the land from getting submerged during high flood. So with this, we come to the end of today's session. Thank you.